scale to the mid game.
I thought
This is danger zone. I mean, okay, Velocity are on a timer.
This is true, but at the same time, if this is maybe weapon power, maybe CP Saw, we're not sure yet. Usually when you see a double heal comp, you kind of think that the weapon power Saw comes through for the buff, for the push potential. If it is CP...
What they were saying, I do feel that Gankstars Sirius have the better composition for this game, and that definitely Hammer's Velocity feel like they are running on a timer here. It's a very risky composition they've filled up for the first game, but this is the best of 3, and if they lose this one, they've still got another 2.
Well, there's a few different factors going back and forth. History has shown us that Zeo on this Saw can actually be somewhat of a monster, but T-Tiger's coming into this one as well. Not really one of the mainstay names. We've seen him here and there throughout the splits, but coming into this one, I'm a little more on the fence on it. But at the same time, Rekt and Lance. This is my #1 pick for that support Lance coming into it, and with that Impale, you can see, this is just, it's going to be his game. Like, a lot of Gankstars are going to be riding on his shoulders, his big, broad shoulders there. And if he can get these impales, Gankstars will use that comp to just bring down Zeo and crew. But, I mean, it's going to be harsh either way. So I'm a little bit more on the fence. There's advantages on both sides here.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. A good lance is hard to find. We see lots of people playing lances, but not many people play them like Rekt does, just because landing that impale, I think in the late game we definitely do see that if you do a bad impale and a late game match, you could completely throw the entire game for your team. Not throw it, but throw that fight for your team. And
well, it's going to be first blood going over to Velocity, as it was Castrol killed out there. Rekt is going to be just keeping an eye on T-Tigers here. We've actually had a little bit of swapping going back and forth as Velocity's kind of rotated through jungle and lane with both these guys, but T-Tigers going to get just chased off, didn't get too much for the farm. Styles will get those backs, and after that first death, and maybe even more, is Rekt. He's just going to be trying to set up for at least something. He is rather low, though, and chasing into that comp could be rather suicidal. We don't actually have Scarf in lane anymore. Old School dueled out Zeo, actually forcing him all the way back home. And if we do have a moment here, 76% for the Gankstars crew. I mean, down a kill, but they got the fan vote behind him, Xingyi.
I think there's a good reason for that. If you've watched any of their previous games this split, they've been, well, they're #1. They've done it in EU and NA, as I just said before. And this new roster that we've seen coming up from Split 1 and Split 2 is being superbly strong. And I think we're about to see this from this game. And like you said, even though we did see Castro going down, I think this is a very time-dependent game. And in the late game, we should be expecting Hammer's Velocity to be having a little bit more of a harder time, because this double heal comp, we usually associate it with a melee hero, like a heavily tanked one like Glaive or Ronan or Blackfeather. But having this Saw there just really mix things up, really just a nice and interesting twist on a common composition.
Well, Old School just showing a little bit of what he is capable of. Look at the pressure all of a sudden. Velocity is trying to push out that turret. Perhaps stayed a little bit too long. Status Bake nearly does get the kill there on top of Veins, and Velocity is going to have to abandon the push for now. Another indication of skill, I mean, Old School, Gold School. I mean, this guy has more DG gold accounts than I think I have Smurfs in any game combined, right? So Old School doing very well, and as I said earlier, right, it's Gankstars having that fan vote. 76% of these guys with them, and so far Old School staying right there with that farm, even actually well, it's actually hard to say who has the better farm at this point, because Zeo and T-Tigers have kind of swapped in and about, but Old School's at 37, and up against just the Lyra support, right? You're always a bit more on the back foot early on. It's, again, just really good stuff out of him, good skill and good pressure. He's not folding under this.
Yeah, if we're talking about the farm, they are 800 get a gold ahead of Hammer's Velocity, and if you look at it, they're not only about 5 or 6 creep score ahead of the other team. And actually, this isn't something that we want to be seeing from Hammer's Velocity. We are seeing Zeo going for that Weapon Saw, and as the host did say, Weapon Saw, he should do really fine, really well in the early game. We've seen him being able to bully Old School out the lane a few times, forcing him to go home. But we would expect him to have a more dominant early start, especially if that's the double sustain. But I think this is one of the first times we're actually seeing Hammer's Velocity actually together in lane as a 3. So this could be a major push attempt. We've seen there's one candy being used. I think we could expect another one being used once the next wave arrives. And I want to see how good they are at clearing that wave and pushing in that turret.
Again, Velocity is trying to get this push going, right? But they just keep getting denied. Old School has fantastic clear. Wrecked and Status Fake to back him up with that one as well. I mean, they are really keeping this turret as healthy as they can. They're going to take a little bit of flak here, and with this Lyra, they should be able, Velocity at least, should be able to trade out the health. But again, with the clear on the minions, between Old School, Wrecked, and Status Fake, they're not getting any push done, and the time is ticking. I think you said this at the beginning here, Shiggy, right? There is a little bit more of a clock on this one, and if they can't get this turret, I know Tasty Bacon would be here telling us that, without that 5-minute turret on a weapon saw, that the tempo is going to be a little bit, against Velocity, and they're still trying. Velocity, still here. Zeo's getting those pot shots off. He is that weapon saw, but they are still getting denied pretty heavily.
They are. They got a little bit of damage down on the turret, and the thing is, I think part of the reason why Gankstars did so well with that push was all 3 of the members stayed out of range of Saw. Even though he had 12 stacks, they made him lose them quickly by denying him a complete target from the focus on. By doing that, they weren't able to push. Saw wasn't able to get any damage down. It was really nicely done by them, and although we have seen, Old School's come back to lane now, I think one thing I'd like to see more is, more pressure, but we're just about to see that.
Yeah, there's that pressure that you're looking for. I was just about to make a statement about 7-5-5 versus the 6-5-5 in terms of experience, but now kind of just breaking down that wall right there. Is Rek going to be looking for a get in? Nope, he's just going to go too deep. Gets caught by the burst. The turret is done. And Status Fake is going to be on the run here. Does Vanes have 6? He does not. He's very close, however. Could have been a portal in just to try to secure the 3 kills, but that's the break that Velocity was looking for. Came a little bit later than what some would actually ask for, but, picking up the turret, the kill, and Gold Mine 2 kills on that. They will be now 3-0, and that's going to put them ahead about, just over 1,000 gold here.
Yes. Well, that was a really nice push from them, actually. I was about to say, they were being very, very passive with a weapon saw there in the double heal comp, but they did that really well. They focused on Old School so much, and the Wreck couldn't really do much to force them back, because if he uses them to heal Zeo, you've got Vanes and Taxi Tigers there, and they'll quickly turn their focus on Wrecked. And I feel Gankstars do really well against denying the push when all 3 members are there. So I think Hammer's Velocity are kind of just forcing 1 or 2 members into the lane. And it's a really clever tactic because they're getting all the gold with continue with this pressure. We're seeing Status Fake coming up to the lane now just to help with that pressure. That's going to miss!
Yeah, a big whiff right there. He is going to get at least a pot shot there on top of Zeo. He has some crit there with that lucky strike, and that's the Zeo route. Looking for Zeo still here, and again, he just needs to start trading back and forth. Vanes is now healed him up. Status Fake is going to have to reload that quiver. And now he's getting some shots there on top of Vanes as well. The crits are integral in making these trades actually happen. Zeo's going to get that suppressing fire. Old School going to be down a little bit too low. Rek can't quite get over the wall here either. And Gankstars, they will rebuff the Velocity push, but they haven't gotten a kill yet. Velocity's still actually hanging around, stealing out that Treant, saying no dice there to Status. He is now just going to have to go deep back into his jungle, but a Treant did just spawn. It's not going to be the worst. We will maintain about 1,000 gold here. And when it comes to some of the items, we are going to be looking for the second items here fairly soon from Velocity, as they are leading in gold. But Status, he has that Sorrel. School there has that Myth as well. Wrecked going into a lot of army. He just picked up that Atlas Pauldron here, so if he jumps in, he's going to be aiming for Zeo, but with nobody on deck, that turret, it's not looking so good. We got a Bulwark there. Wreck can't quite get in it. Old School with the breath. It's not going to hold, but I guess the wall's going to turn this one around here, Shingy. Wrecked and those portals. Status Baked is here as well. Vane's going to be coming down low. T-Tigers versus the World with a pocket Lyra. He is actually going to be holding their own, and Wrecked, if he goes in, he could actually just drop right away, and it's not worth it. And they will only get the 1 kill. Vanes will live through the onslaught, and 2 turrets done. Have more gold into Velocity's pocket.
Well, it is. They're doing really well with the push, but the thing is that still concerns me is that Gankstars Sirius, even though it doesn't look great, they're actually holding a really nice defense here against Hammer's Velocity. And I think this is kind of, we're seeing Scarf beginning to scale up and Saw beginning to struggle. I mean, he's not quite struggling just yet, but we do see that whenever Osko does land a Goop and a Spitfire on him, it takes away a significant amount of his damage, and part of that is because Zeo doesn't have that much shield, but it's also because of Saw's mobility or lack of it. And I think we just have to wonder at what point is Gankstars Sirius comp they're going to be able to just outscale the double heal comp and that Saw. And I don't think it's going to be that far away, to be honest, because
it doesn't feel like that Zeo and crew are actually far enough ahead. So I'm agreeing with you on that point. It doesn't feel like they've taken commanding lead like they need to.
Yeah, they've taken one turret down really fast, and I think every single other attempt so far, it's been really well pushed back by Gankstars Sirius. So 11 minutes, almost 11 minutes there. They've only got a 3k gold lead. I think we've seen some teams with a SAW that have been way ahead at this point, and you've got to wonder what their plan is.
6, 7, 8,000 would be definitely a little bit more of a comfier number. Status baked, and you already did use that one shot, one kill. It is back up again. Here comes the breath. Rek going in real deep. That's going to be a first and nearly brings him down as well.
Nice
stun. Yeah, Status baked and the camo doing good work, and Zio is now going to be on the retreat. But Vanes is here, and they aren't going to have that sigil. We have a fountain there, but the one shot is going to be enough to overcome it. There's the root coming back, and now Gankstars Portal is there. Old School and Rek to follow. They are trying to bring Vanes just down to a crawl. The goop did actually hit for a little bit, but Vanes looks like he will at least survive for now. T-Tiger is putting up a bit more of a front here. He will play that interference, and again, Velocity. They got a little bit more caught there. That's 2 kills over to Gankstars total in 11 minutes. Not exactly the biggest of numbers, but now a little bit of steal here in the jungle. Gankstars going to try to capitalize.
Yeah, I think that fight was just a perfect example of maybe the SAW isn't going to be working so well, because what they did was we just see Old School and Stasis Baked focusing on Zio. So Old School burnt Zio down to a very low amount of health with his Goop and Spitfire. And because he was fully stacked up at the time, it's so easy for Status Baked to hit him with a one shot, one kill because of the lack of mobility. It's very unlikely, and you can probably predict, even if that SAW is going to move, where he's going to move to. And we see that Status Baked's been doing really well with the one shot, one kills so far.
Alright, so Velocity going to be taking control of the mid here as well. Now, Velocity already know that there was one of the one-shot, one-kills on top of the gold mine bit earlier on the one attempt that has actually happened this game. So they have something of an idea that there's not a lot of vision in and around the area. They are going to find this one scout trap and kind of coming up dry on the rest of them. Don't actually see any more there. So Gankstars pretty much is going to be playing that defensive game. Velocity have definitely taken control here of the mid, but Zio's kind of dragging his feet on a second offensive item. Looks like he is going to be building more into a little bit more defense here. We do got the speed on Tigers, but that's going to be an impale. Here comes another burst. Rek is going to be okay, but Status Baked is going to have to just get on out. And it is not going to be a chase here from Velocity. Even with portals, not entirely too sure they would have gotten anything wrecked, just really sticking close to his wounded teammate. And he had those Githian walls ready to go in that small little area. Probably would have been disaster. So Velocity is just going to take their small little victory, get a gold mine out of it.
Yes, and Gankstars, they can't do anything to deny that. I guess we did have the one shot, one kill. I think is it worth trying to get that gold mine? Yeah, there's no vision. They've actually... If we looked at Rek, he doesn't have any slot for vision. He's got the flares, but you don't see him unless he sells all the flares and just buys the scout shots instead. We're not going to be seeing any scout shots coming down. And I think with the dominance that Hammer's Velocity have in the lane, it's probably not worth having it, because every time they do put one down, it's just going to be set off. Because Vanes has been doing a really good job, and T-Tiger's also has the flares as well, but I think this will be the next engagement we're going to be seeing coming out from the two teams.
Are we going to hit those treads, Vanes? Just thinking about it, we do got the root there on top of Zio. He will have at least the shank. Here comes the breath. T-Tigers, no burst this time. Gangstar is going to be separating him from the herd. Vanes and Zio are on the retreat, but it will be Adagio to burn down. Didn't exactly have the full kit ready there from Velocity, and Gankstars will take the opportunity for another kill. But Vanes just picked up a metal jacket. No Atlas for this guy. He is really trying to be that tanky frontline for his team.
Yeah, well, the thing is about the comp coming up from Hammer's Velocity, none of the three of them are really intending on diving onto them unless they're going for the super aggressive mode. Because I don't think SAW really needs to be that close to any of the members of Gankstars, because his range on his basic attacks is quite long. And I think by putting you into close quarters, it puts you right in the range for all three members of Hammer's Velocity. He's not one of those tanky melee heroes. And I guess that team fight where we do manage to focus on T-Tigers kind of shows the double-edged sword that Lyra is, because you know, you've got this great escape that the Arcane Passage gives, but if you're not close enough to take the Arcane Passage, it's great for isolating your members, and they did that exactly with T-Tiger.
They didn't expect this. We haven't seen Gankstars in the middle of the map for quite a while, and Vanes just cannot get out of that bush. Stuns and goops. Now Zio will get a target here for Rekt. He will actually block out the impale, but it's T-Tigers now on the other side of things, just gets melted down, and Status Baked punches him full of arrows. They cannot get this ace, I don't think. Zio, I think, is a bit too far into that recall, but as I say, he actually does kind of panic a little bit. Either way, Kraken is up. Two team members of Velocity are down, and the one time Vanes doesn't throw out a flare, the one time that Gankstars gets the upper hand.
Absolutely beautiful fight, and exactly, it came down to not throwing in that flare. He didn't have the vision, the ball. They just kind of focused on him really hard. And what was really nice was that we saw Rec moving to the back line there, taking Zeo and T-Tigers away from them. Oh no! No, they get it. It's all good.
I was gonna say, if Zeo does grab that with the suppressing as a non-CP saw, that would have been a play of the game right there, Shingi. But Gankstars have a bit of push now generated. They're going to have this Kraken coming through, but they have just 5 pristine turrets to go through.
I think Gankstars Sirius with that scarf and with that Kestrel, they're going to be able to poke down the turrets from range, and you can see that doing right now, but focusing on Zeo, oh my gosh!
Yep, that could actually be it for Zeo, but he does actually have the shank ready. The one shot will clip
so
them, and
close.
Ranked is just gonna go rolling, picking it up, no problem. T-Tigers and Old School actually dueling it up there, but now it's gonna be Tigers on the retreat. His status fake is able to bring him down with the glimmers. This leaves Veins on the defensive. One turret is done. There goes the second, and Scarf is going to be a massive siege tool for pushing out into this third turret. Will we see more than that, though, Jingyi?
Oh, I think this could be the last turret, actually. But the timers aren't that long, so it's probably a good time for them to back away, especially with Old School and Status Fake being quite low. I want to see Old School go away, but not before they clear out the jungle. And one thing I want to say about the fight so far, what I really like coming out from Rec is this lance, and I think this is what makes him one of the best lances so far, is that in those team fights, we're seeing him not peeling away all 3 members of Hammer's Velocity. He's just peeling out the Saw and either T-Tigers or Veins, allowing the other members of Gankstars Sirius to focus on whoever he's not peeling away. And by doing that, he's preventing them from giving the sustain that Saw needs to stay alive. It's just really clever play coming up from Rec, and it's really impressive because it's not the easiest to isolate 2 out of 3 members when they're in a clump.
And this is why I continuously say that Rec is probably the best roam in a perhaps even world, but you know, if Gankstars get this win, their series, they go into tomorrow in good form. We're gonna have a chance to prove that statement, but you know, for now, gotta focus on the present. Velocity looking for a minion mine, but Veins goes in. We got that bulwark, and Old School's the target.
Oh,
It's
no.
gonna be a stun though. And while T-Tigers is gonna get the minion mine, congratulations to him. That's a stun combo, and Veins rooted up. He's gonna just get burnt to toast, and Velocity now starting to fall apart. Gankstars haven't suffered a death yet. We're gonna hit the boost. T-Tigers, he's out of options. We've already used the burst here as well, and this will be a 3-0 ace as Gankstars have taken commanding control of this game. They are up in gold pressure. They're about to be up here in turrets. Well, they are, but even more at this point, and this could be the end of the game.
I think so. I definitely agree. I think this could be it. They've got a lot of burst power coming out from Status Fake and Old School. This is it. And I've got to say, even though it looks like a complete turnaround, if you look at the scoreboard and how everything went, I have to say, I feel like it felt from the very, very start, I never felt like they were behind. Even when they lost at first heart, even when I felt like they weren't doing so well, never felt like they were behind.
They weren't behind